Imagine all those moments in your life where you've made yourself smaller, stepped back to make space for others. But what if you broke that cycle? The first page of Daring to Take Up Space is where it all begins. Daniell Koepke invites you to embrace yourself fully and boldly take up the space you deserve. Don't make yourself less, she says. Simply existing is enough. The foreword of this book is a call to challenge all the limitations you've placed on yourself. Koepke whispers, you have a place in this world, and that place is not given by others, it's claimed by your courage. Maybe you've spent a long time adapting to the lives of others, but now, the time has come. Are you ready to make space for yourself in a way you never have before? This journey invites you to be brave, to show yourself compassion, and to accept that you are enough, just as you are. Don't wait for your turn anymore. As Koepke puts it, this life is one you have the right to live. Koepke invites us to look inward, saying, your worth is not determined by the world outside. True worth comes from within. When you start embracing yourself, the need for external validation fades away, because, as Koepke emphasizes, if you don't accept your own worth, no amount of love from the outside will ever be enough. This journey begins with making peace with yourself. Every time you hide your flaws, every time you try to cover up your imperfections, you're denying a part of yourself. And this is where Koepke stops us in our tracks. Trying to hide your flaws is denying yourself. Your imperfections are what make you who you are, and they too are deserving of love. In other words, letting go of the quest for perfection is one of the greatest freedoms you can give yourself. Perfection is an illusion. Accepting yourself as you are takes the greatest courage. And what about the way we show love to others? Is it different from how we treat ourselves? Here, Koepke reveals a hard truth. The way you treat yourself is the way you will treat others. If you're hard on yourself, it's inevitable that this harshness will reflect in your relationships with others. That's why developing a loving and compassionate approach to yourself transforms not only your inner world but also your relationships. But how do we start to show this love to ourselves? According to Koepke, the first step is to change your inner dialogue. Instead of criticizing yourself during tough times, show yourself kindness. The love you give yourself can be enough without needing external approval, she says. This journey involves accepting your mistakes, supporting yourself through difficult moments, and most importantly, forgiving yourself. However, this isn't a journey where you wake up one morning expecting everything to suddenly change. Koepke describes it as a process that starts with small, steady steps. Self-acceptance is about making more space for yourself each day. One day, you'll wake up and realize how freeing it is to create space for yourself in every moment of your life. Knowing that self-acceptance is a slow yet powerful journey may just be the motivation you need to keep going. In the end, Koepke leads you to the greatest reward of this journey, freedom. When you allow yourself to take up space, when you stop shrinking yourself, you can fully exist. This is the purest form of freedom. Accepting yourself as you are will lead to both inner peace and healthier relationships with the world around you. Koepke's message in this section is more than just advice, it's an invitation. The love and acceptance you give yourself are more lasting and valuable than anything you'll find in the outside world. Are you ready to take this journey? When you make more space for yourself, you'll meet your freedom and your true self. The trap of comparison, breaking free from the illusion. How many times have you looked at someone else's life and questioned your own journey? In the comparison chapter of Daring to Take Up Space, Daniell Koepke exposes the endless game of comparing ourselves to others and how it slowly drains us from within. She delivers a striking warning. Comparing yourself to others is the wrong way to measure your success or worth. Koepke reminds us that we all walk different paths, facing unique challenges and experiences. Yet, we often see others' achievements as a reflection of our own shortcomings. But here's the truth, other people's successes don't overshadow your journey, she says. Falling into the comparison trap only leads to more pain and dissatisfaction. And then there's social media. Koepke points out how it fuels this comparison mindset. The perfect lives we see on Instagram or Facebook only show the brightest moments. The reality remains hidden behind the lens. Social media shows the highlights, not the truth, she warns. Koepke reminds us that we all walk different paths, facing unique challenges and experiences. Yet, we often see others' achievements as a reflection of our own shortcomings. But here's the truth, other people's successes don't overshadow your journey, she says. Falling into the comparison trap only leads to more pain and dissatisfaction. And then there's social media. Koepke points out how it fuels this comparison mindset. The perfect lives we see on Instagram or Facebook only show the brightest moments. The reality remains hidden behind the lens. Social media shows the highlights, not the truth, she warns. Embracing pain and hardship. The journey to inner strength. Think about those moments when life unexpectedly shakes you, pushing you to your limits. One minute, everything seems fine, and the next, you find yourself plunged into darkness, battling pain and struggles you never saw coming. In her book Daring to Take Up Space, Daniell Koepke delves deep into how we can face these hardships head-on. We are all inclined to avoid pain. We try to suppress it, hide it, or pretend it doesn't exist. But Koepke invites us to challenge this instinct. Pain is not something to be avoided or suppressed. It's something to be felt, processed, and learned from. What if pain isn't something that weakens us, but something that can teach us? What if it's not an enemy, but a guide? You don't have to have everything together all the time, Koepke reminds us. It's okay to not be okay. In those moments when you feel like you're crumbling, perhaps that's when your greatest strength is being revealed. Koepke helps us see that pain can be a doorway to deeper self-awareness. Pain doesn't exist to break you, it exists to build you. The most surprising thing, pain doesn't just tear you down, it rebuilds you. Pain cracks us open, revealing parts of ourselves we didn't even know existed. The longer you run from it, the more control it has over you. But when you face it with courage, it transforms you into someone stronger, more resilient. Koepke's message is clear: don't run from hardship. Don't reject pain, feel it, learn from it, and grow through it. True strength isn't in avoiding pain but in rising from it. As Koepke says, your strength is not in avoiding struggle, but in how you choose to rise from it. Self-worth and value, a journey to discovering your true worth. In the self-worth and value chapter of Daring to Take Up Space, Daniell Koepke takes you on a profound journey. How many times have you evaluated yourself through the eyes of others? Have you ever wondered if you're enough without external validation? Koepke answers these questions with a powerful truth. As long as you search for your worth in the outside world, you will always feel like something is missing. True self-worth comes from within. Many of us measure our self-worth through the lens of others, our achievements, appearances, or the approval we receive. But Koepke explains that this way of thinking leaves us constantly feeling empty. How others see you doesn't define who you are. Your worth cannot be measured by external approval. In other words, the value others place on you is not your real value. So, how do we reach true self-worth? Koepke's answer is simple yet profound: by accepting yourself as you are. The compassion you show yourself begins with embracing your flaws, because it's those flaws and imperfections that make you who you are. Every mistake, every weakness, these are what shape you, and finding peace with them is the foundation of true self-worth. Koepke explains that building self-worth starts with small yet powerful steps. Each morning, as you look in the mirror, ask yourself, am I giving myself enough value? Koepke emphasizes that instead of waiting for others' approval, you need to find your own inner strength. True success and happiness begin with the value you give yourself. By making peace with your flaws and accepting yourself with love each day, you can begin this transformative journey. And finally, Koepke brings you to this realization: you have always been valuable. You just needed to recognize it. Self-worth and the love you show yourself were never meant to come from the outside, they were always within you. Emotional healing, the journey of healing your own wounds. We all face challenges in life, and those challenges leave marks, sometimes deep wounds that take time to heal. In the emotional healing chapter of Daring to Take Up Space, Daniell Koepke offers a powerful guide on how to heal these wounds. Koepke emphasizes that this process cannot be rushed and that every healing has its own unique timeline. Healing is not a quick or easy process, but it happens at the right time and in the right way for you. Emotional healing is far more than just putting a bandage over a visible wound. Koepke reveals its essence. Healing isn't about suppressing the pain. It's about accepting it, facing it, and understanding it. Instead of ignoring your pain, you need to embrace it and ask yourself what lessons it holds. Every wound, after all, carries a message. However, Koepke acknowledges that healing is not easy. Healing means moving through the pain. This process can be difficult, but it will make you stronger. Healing requires daily steps forward. She also reminds us that this journey is personal and should never be compared to someone else's. Your healing path is yours alone, and that is perfectly normal. So, what should you do during this process? The first step is showing yourself compassion. The compassion you show yourself is the most powerful source of strength on your healing journey, Koepke says. During moments of pain, you must support yourself and find peace with your mistakes and heartbreaks. True healing begins with self-love and acceptance. Koepke's most powerful message is this: emotional healing isn't just about leaving pain behind. It's about gaining new strength from it. Every wound becomes a part of who you are, and when you heal, you emerge as someone stronger and wiser, ready to move forward in life. Setting boundaries, protecting and respecting yourself. Setting boundaries is a skill many people struggle with, yet it's essential for personal well-being. In the Setting Boundaries chapter of Daring to Take Up Space, Daniell Koepke explains how boundaries are a reflection of self-respect. Setting boundaries teaches others what you will and won't accept. It's about standing up for your worth. Boundaries aren't just physical, they also include emotional and mental limits. Koepke says, setting boundaries is a way to protect yourself, so it's not selfish. It's self-respect. Sometimes saying no or expressing that something isn't right for you can be the greatest gift you give yourself. Koepke emphasizes that boundaries aren't meant to hurt others, they are for your well-being. Boundaries are necessary to maintain healthy relationships. Boundaries are bridges built with love and respect, not walls, Koepke writes. The most important step in this process is recognizing your own needs and boundaries, then having the courage to express them. Setting boundaries is telling others, this is my space, and you need to respect it. As Koepke puts it, defending your boundaries is the greatest expression of the love you have for yourself. Success and expectations, carving your own path. In the Success and Expectations chapter of Daring to Take Up Space, Daniell Koepke challenges the societal norms surrounding success. At some point, we all feel trapped between the expectations of others and our own dreams. Koepke captures this perfectly. Success isn't a race where everyone walks the same path. Your journey is uniquely yours. Society often tells us that success must be achieved within a specific timeline and through certain steps. However, Koepke emphasizes that following these expectations will only leave us feeling unsatisfied. Living up to the expectations of others will only trap you in their dreams. She encourages us to define success not by comparison to others, but by progressing on our own unique path. Koepke reminds us that everyone's definition of success is different. Don't be afraid to move at your own pace, she says. Success isn't a goal dictated by others, but a journey you define for yourself. Everyone's timeline is different, and that's completely normal. Her powerful message is this: success doesn't come from external validation, but from internal satisfaction and confidence. When you live according to your own expectations, that's when you'll find true success. Healing and progress, finding strength in challenges. Healing is not a destination but a journey. In the Healing and Progress chapter of Daring to Take Up Space, Daniell Koepke guides us through the challenging yet empowering nature of this journey. Healing isn't always about taking big steps forward, Koepke says. Sometimes it's about taking small, uncertain steps, or even pausing to catch your breath. The path to healing is rarely a straight line. There are moments when it feels like you're moving backward, but Koepke reminds us of an important truth: even the moments when you think you're stepping back are part of your progress. Every experience helps you grow stronger. Healing is a journey full of ups and downs, and even those low points offer valuable lessons. Koepke emphasizes the importance of patience during this process. Be kind to yourself. Healing doesn't have to happen all at once. It takes time, and that's okay. Progress doesn't come from external pressures, but from moving at your own inner pace. It's essential to accept each step and recognize the growth this journey brings. Koepke's message is powerful and clear. Healing isn't just about closing wounds. It's about gaining strength from them. Every challenge turns you into a stronger version of yourself, and true progress begins when you recognize that strength. Making peace with yourself, ending the inner battle. Making peace with yourself is perhaps the most challenging yet liberating journey you can embark on. In the Making Peace with Yourself chapter of Daring to Take Up Space, Daniell Koepke explores the power and importance of this process. As Koepke puts it, Making peace with yourself means silencing that inner critic and embracing who you are. We all fight an internal battle. Feelings of inadequacy, the fear of making mistakes, the weight of past regrets. But Koepke reminds us that this battle can end. Accepting your flaws and embracing your weaknesses doesn't make you weak, it makes you stronger. Making peace with yourself means coming to terms with your mistakes and vulnerabilities, and in doing so, you set yourself free. Koepke emphasizes that patience and self-compassion are the most important tools on this journey. Be kind to yourself. Even moving forward with small steps every day is a big achievement. Making peace with yourself requires letting go of the pressure to be perfect and accepting yourself as you are. Her most powerful message is this: when you make peace with yourself, your need for external approval fades away because the peace inside you is stronger than anything you've been seeking outside. Making peace with yourself is the key to inner freedom, and this journey transforms you into a stronger, more confident version of yourself. Self-compassion, the power of being kind to yourself. In the face of life's challenges, the love and understanding we show ourselves are often the first things we neglect. In the self-compassion chapter of Daring to Take Up Space, Daniell Koepke reveals the powerful and transformative nature of self-compassion. Showing your self-compassion means standing by your side, even in your toughest moments. Many of us are kind to others, yet when it comes to ourselves, the inner critic takes over. Koepke challenges this mindset. Expecting the compassion you can't give yourself from others will only lead to more disappointment. Self-compassion is about giving ourselves the validation we often seek from the outside world, turning it into inner strength. Koepke emphasizes the importance of seeing mistakes as opportunities for growth instead of relentlessly criticizing ourselves. Your mistakes don't define you. They are just part of the process of growing. Being kind to yourself isn't just about success. It's about supporting yourself through difficult times and becoming your greatest ally. Koepke's most powerful message is this: when you withhold compassion from yourself, you'll struggle to find your place in the world. Because the greatest strength comes from the compassion within you. Self-compassion is the purest form of love and respect you can offer yourself, and that is what truly makes you strong. Burnout and the importance of rest, the power of starting again. In the fast-paced world we live in, we often push ourselves to accomplish more, unaware that burnout is lurking just around the corner. In the Burnout and the Importance of Rest chapter of Daring to Take Up Space, Daniell Koepke reminds us that rest is actually part of success. Resting doesn't mean giving up. It means gathering strength to begin again. Koepke says, many of us view rest as a weakness. We tell ourselves we need to keep doing more, but Koepke challenges this belief. You don't always have to be producing. Sometimes the greatest achievement comes from allowing yourself to pause. Rest is not only physical but also the key to mental and emotional renewal. Burnout often occurs when we push ourselves beyond our limits, constantly striving for more. Koepke emphasizes the importance of self-care. Giving yourself permission to rest is a sign that you value yourself. Resting is the way to regain balance and come back stronger. Koepke's key message is this: rest is not the enemy of productivity. It's its greatest supporter. Overcoming burnout sometimes means taking a moment to breathe and creating space to start again with renewed energy. Facing your fears, discovering your strength. Fear can be one of the greatest forces holding us back in life. In the Facing Your Fears chapter of Daring to Take Up Space, Daniell Koepke explores how confronting our fears can transform us. Overcoming your fears starts with not letting them control you. Fears often prevent us from moving forward, but Koepke reminds us of the power in facing them. When you let your fears shrink you, you limit your potential. But when you dare to move beyond them, you discover your true strength. Fear isn't just an obstacle, it's a guide that can make you more courageous and resilient. Koepke explains that facing fears isn't a one-time victory. It's a step-by-step process. You conquer your fears slowly, by taking one step at a time. Even small steps can lead to big transformations. Confronting your fears not only makes you stronger but also helps you realize your full potential. Her key message is this: as long as you allow your fears to control you, others will define your limits. But when you move beyond your fears, you create your own path. Facing your fears is the doorway to freedom and inner strength. Strength and courage, the journey to discovering your inner power. When life gets tough, it's natural to question our strength and courage. In the Strength and Courage chapter of Daring to Take Up Space, Daniell Koepke invites us to explore these inner resources. The moments when we feel our strongest are not always the times of visible success. Koepke redefines the meaning of strength, saying, "Strength isn't always measured by physical power or visible achievements. Sometimes the greatest strength is shown in the moments when you feel the weakest, yet choose to keep going." We all go through ups and downs, disappointments, losses, deep struggles. In these moments, feeling strong can seem impossible, but Koepke reminds us that these dark moments are often when we discover our inner strength. Strength is the courage to stand tall when facing the darkest challenges. The truest form of strength reveals itself when you're at your most vulnerable, she says. Vulnerability, then, is not a weakness but a sign of strength. Courage, on the other hand, is not the absence of fear. It's the ability to move forward despite fear. Courage is acting in the presence of fear. Being strong doesn't mean being perfect or always making the right decisions. Sometimes, just taking one small step requires immense strength. Koepke explains that real strength comes from continuing to move forward, even when fear is present. Recognizing your inner strength begins with accepting your own story. Koepke says, "You find your true strength when you accept yourself, with all your flaws and weaknesses." Strength isn't just about external victories. It's about accepting the battles within and making peace with them. True strength is believing in yourself, even in the hardest times. Koepke also reminds us that strength and courage aren't always measured by grand acts of bravery. Koepke's key message is clear. Strength doesn't come from external validation, it comes from the belief within yourself. Being strong isn't defined by how others see you, but by how you see yourself. Your strength is fueled by your belief in yourself. Koepke reminds us that this strength is within all of us, waiting to be embraced with courage. Ultimately, strength and courage are the greatest tools for pushing beyond your limits. When you accept your story, make peace with your flaws, and continue moving forward despite your fears, you'll discover just how powerful you truly are. The power of self-acceptance, embracing your truth. Self-acceptance is a concept that everyone talks about, but truly understanding it takes time. In this chapter of Daring to Take Up Space, Daniell Koepke emphasizes that self-acceptance is not just an action but a revolution. Accepting yourself as you are is the first step to freeing yourself from the expectations that limit you, Koepke says. Constantly trying to see ourselves through the eyes of others pulls us away from inner peace. But when we embrace ourselves just as we are, we begin to find true freedom. Koepke acknowledges that this process isn't easy. In a world where society, others, or even our inner critic constantly make us question ourselves, self-acceptance can feel like an uphill battle. Yet, her message is powerful. Accepting yourself means making peace with your flaws and imperfections. These imperfections don't make you weak. They make you human. This message is key to breaking free from the pressure to be perfect and reaching our true essence. Self-acceptance isn't just about making peace with our external or physical selves but also with our inner world. Koepke stresses the importance of self-compassion, saying, "Being kind to yourself begins with loving and accepting yourself as you are." This is about shedding others' expectations and reaching your own truth. The process involves embracing our weaknesses, mistakes, and failures. Because when we embrace them, we find our true strength. But when you accept yourself as you are, you find inner freedom. Evaluating ourselves based on others' standards makes finding inner fulfillment difficult. But when we accept our own journey, we find true peace and satisfaction. Conclusion: the journey of discovering yourself. Koepke's message is clear. Self-acceptance is the most important step in writing your own story. This journey is not just about external successes or achievements. It's about inner peace and the relationship you have with yourself. When you live your life according to others' expectations, you overlook your own power and potential. But when you accept yourself, you break past your limits and carve your own path. One of Koepke's most powerful messages is, when you accept yourself, you no longer need external validation. Because the peace within you goes beyond all the answers you've been searching for in the outside world. Self-acceptance means not worrying about how others see you. It allows you to make the greatest discovery about yourself and truly become free. On this journey, knowing and accepting yourself makes you stronger, more confident, and more independent. As Koepke says, self-acceptance is about dropping the masks and expectations and finding who you really are. Ultimately, This journey doesn't just free you from the outside world's demands but also brings you inner peace. In the end, the power of self-acceptance begins with discovering your own truth. When you accept yourself as you are, make peace with your flaws, and embrace your weaknesses, you become the hero of your own story. Koepke's message is clear. Self-acceptance is the key that opens the door to freedom.